Good with
All right.
recording.
Recording is happening just in time to not help Omekongo at all.
I was taking notes there. I was taking notes.
All right. And then just specifically for you, and then Annie, you're up next. Did you want to talk about SEO optimization at all? It sounds like you have a fuck ton other things going on to like worry about that, but that was your one thing that you were going to be focusing on.
I haven't focused on it at all.
Great.
Can I give you a suggestion too, Omekongo?
Sure.
I had a speech in South Africa, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was at the Global Speaker Summit. Anyway, so we went a week early and went up to Zulu Natal and took a photo safari. If you get any time, if you want to, decompress from all this craziness that's been going on in your life, that was so cool. I mean, that was unbelievable. Okay. Yeah, I've seen giraffes and elephants and stuff in the zoo, and that's not the same thing as you see running around wild out there. It's a whole different thing. Yeah, it's pretty.
All cool. Right, thank you. I might do that too.
Excellent. And Annie, you want to go? 5 minutes.
And what was my thing I was going to do? Nothing? Was that what I said?
Website copy, writing the book, or not, just being a human.
Perfect. Okay, so shortly after I left CSP, I have a friend who's a speaker, but she's also a therapist, and I did some therapy. So that was my first big step. And here's why. I was feeling so trapped and really afraid after the hurricane hit that I could not think clearly. In fact, I just told my daughter the other day, you should come see our condo. And she's like, yeah, we were there in December. But because of the trauma of the hurricane, I wasn't working at my best. Let's just say I was still trying to work, but I wasn't working my best. But after I went to her, she's like, you have total choices. You can do anything you want. You can never go back to that condo. You can go back to that condo. You can sell it. You can buy something else. And that really helped me. And I felt like I had a couple sessions. I don't even know, EMDR, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it works or something. And then I just felt so clear and calm. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to focus and get back on track. So yes, I just approved the new copy for my website, so that should be launched by March 1st. I was on the news last night, I guess, for the Minnesota station because Joe Schmidt asked me to be interviewed. So people were posting that on Facebook, super fun. Chuck Gallagher reached out to me and asked me to do shorts. So I said no, my husband said yes. I flew to South Carolina and I did 130 short videos, which is 60 seconds or less. 30 to 60 seconds. They haven't started being released yet. That will also happen in March. But I'm just trying to okay, how can I maybe not speak as much, but get really clear on my messaging and my focus? And so I am writing a book. I chose to hire a ghostwriter, which I've never done before. And so she sits with me and records me and we try to get focused. But it's going to be something about weathering the storms of your life, whatever those storms are. And our date to come out is June. And our hope is to have it be traditionally published. So it's my 8th book and it would be my first book that would be traditionally published. So I'm super excited about that. I'm back in my home. So I'm very happy about that. Back in my office just as of yesterday. So it just feels really good. Like Greg and I sat on our couch, which broke during the hurricane, but we sat on a corner of our couch last night. And that was the first time in 5 months we've gotten to do that. So little things become big things. The debris is still pretty devastating to look outside my windows, but where I live is good. I feel really good about my business. I spent some time talking to Sylvie yesterday and I just said, I want to speak less often for a higher fee. I don't want to work as hard. Super grateful this Friday to be speaking to 200 HR directors and lawyers right here in Florida. So I don't know. I'm grateful. I'm good. I am going to thrive. I'm excited about that. I kind of want to only go to Thrive CSP, but people are like, you got to go to Influence. You got to go. So I think I'm going to Influence too, but I'm trying not to spend so much money. I talked to another speaker this morning and she just said she spends so much money on this business. She's not making as much as she spends. And luckily I'm married to a very fiscally conservative person who is always watching my dollars. Yeah, I don't know. I feel really good about where I'm at. I feel really excited. I had 3 different ghostwriters reach out to me. And that was really exciting to pick the right one. And she used to be an English teacher. That feels excellent. Doing these videos with Chuck Gallagher, Okay, let me just be honest. I do not like the way I look at all. And I'm not judging myself. I hired someone to do my hair and makeup and she made me not look like me. But I decided I'm going to trust the process. We're using AI. We're going to do 5 videos a week, Monday through Friday. His goal is to get me to 30 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours, because then YouTube will pick you up as you can be paid to be on there. And that shorts, most people think of short videos going to Instagram or TikTok, but a lot less people are using YouTube shorts. And so you have a much more likelihood of being noticed there, a little less tapped. So I'm excited about a lot of things. And I think I'm not exactly sure what's going to work. But I'm grateful to have an amazing virtual assistant that keeps me on track and challenges me and helps do the things that I don't love doing, like uploading books on Amazon and writing proposals. So I don't know. I'm pretty good. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to see all of you guys.
Can I just jump in for 1 second and just say, the one thing I noticed when I came on, you were already on, you look great. I mean, I see a different energy. I see a lot of life in your facial expressions, your eyes. Whereas when we were together before, there was a lot of wanting to be that, but there was a lot of sadness, as you know. And I'm not seeing that now. So whatever you did in therapy, whatever else is going on, it's working for you. You look very healthy and very happy and energetic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that too. I see it too. Very noticeable.
Thank you.
It could be that she and her husband came and visited my wife and me in Florida. It could be that.
Was it for sure? Yeah, all it is. I think I really heard the message of stop trying to keep going when you're not okay. And I wasn't okay. And that is why I wanted to start by sharing. I went to therapy and it really helped me. I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I was having nightmares. And my prayer was, I want to go back to the person people make fun of for smiling so much because I'm so dang happy and I don't necessarily know why or have a reason to be. And I feel like maybe I'm not 100% back there, but I'm closer to that. Just having a schedule again, getting up in quiet time in the morning, exercising, walking the beach, writing, having leads from clients is always make me feel great. So yeah, thank you very much for noticing. And it feels so good, but I knew I had to take care of myself and get regrounded before I could focus on serving other people. And I feel like I'm back there. So thank you.
Congratulations and welcome, Michelle. We missed you. We're glad you're here. We are doing 5 minutes, kind of like follow up of how things are going. What do people need? People help, whatever. And then we'll see how much time we have. That's the general plan, Michelle. So next up, why don't we go with Frank?
Hey, top square. All right. So the last time we had met there in December, the one thing that really kept getting on me, and she's not here, was Lori had challenged me going, hey, Frank, what do you really want to be known for? And I went to a retreat with Sylvia D'Augusto, and the piece came down to it was, I really work on workplace culture, you know, how mindset is impacted by our workplace culture and how it affects our career advancement, our productivity and profit. So I was like, I need to focus on that piece first before I go with the advice that Carl gave me. So once I spent time getting that cleaned up on the website, SEO, social media, that actually really resonated with a lot of prospective clients, which allowed me actually to raise my fees. And I've got work lined up through the summer, which weren't groups I thought I'd approach. But then on the back end, Carl made the recommendation saying, well, Frank, you know, with the board members or the leadership, you should give them a gift, whether it be a book. So my first 2 deals out of the year, the one group actually bought books for all their staff. But because the leadership did get the book, I'm actually working out to come back again and do an extended training with the one group. And then another client, I came in and worked with their staff and gave everybody books at all their locations. And they signed a contract for multi-5 figures to come do an event for them in September. So Carl, it does work. And I'll be getting some books into the mail this week. So starting to get that process going. Got another group as a credit union where I got to get a book or 2 out to the CEO because he popped into the session. It's just supposed to be for the staff. So that was the big piece right now was I've got the name Kitchen, which, you know, helps me stand out. But the big piece was realizing the programs are centered around workplace culture, but they're all, quote, kitchen inspired. So that way it helps clean up the organization there. And that's just provided me with a lot of clarity. And then the other piece is I've been meeting with a lot of people like yourselves, where it's the point of you get your speaking work based off of the relationships. So I've just been really working once again on the relationship building. And that's been leading to work, whether it be spin-off work from other speakers who aren't available to go to the events, or they've got a different expertise and they refer work to me. So the year has started off good. And as of, we'll see by the end of this week, I'll be projecting to already have last year's numbers by the end of the first quarter, as far as projections so far for the year. So CSP definitely helped me out.
And Frank, I think, is being respectful of my confidentiality, but I was also at the same retreat with Sylvie, and I just want to throw out, if y'all ever think that maybe you are like overdoing it and you're like following through too much and need to take a nap, call Frank, because he will make you want to take a nap. Because I have never met anyone in my entire life who's like, oh, I should do this. And 14 seconds later, the whole fucking thing is done. And they want to take a nap. He is amazing and does exactly what he says he's going to do, full tilt at all times. I will be on the couch. But Frank, you're amazing. So don't.
Well, thank you. But you have to understand this one too, because I'll throw it back to Jess. Jess is a really good butt kicker. So in the sense of, I say butt kicker in the case of she sees what you've got the ability to do. So, I mean, you don't want to sit back, because essentially she's like, hey, you've got this. Why aren't you doing it? So Jess, that's the throwback to you, because as we said back at the retreat, I'm really good when I got somebody to kick my butt in my life, and you helped me out with that. So that's why I went and did that 14 seconds to change everything up. But that's the good piece. I mean, everybody here, like I said, the big challenge, like I said, Lori's not here, was like, hey, don't just completely rely on just the name. Yeah, it's great for branding, but you really have to give something of substance. So that conversation with you, and then at the retreat, of which I actually spoke with Annie, because Annie went to the retreat last year, just so she gave me some ideas of what to look forward to. So I said, it really helped out. And, it's nice. I'm on about 6 week sabbatical right now. I'm kind of like you, Omekongo, where it's weird. I spoke to the end of January, and then no speeches on my book for February, and nothing the first 2 weeks of March. So I've actually been using this time to actually apply a lot of the notes that, I've taken back in December and January to like, okay, once I get back onto these bigger stages, the end of March, let's just go full bore.
Excellent.
So,
Anybody have anything for Frank?
I do. I'm impressed with what you're doing and how you're going.
Yeah.
That's really great.
I mean, as you know, it's not really, it's blowing smoke at everybody, but it was great to be in the room. Like I said, took all the notes and came back, talked to my wife about it. But, just the belief everybody here has in each other. And it's going like, okay, if they believe I can do it, and they're saying, hey, you should go out and do it. Hey, go out and do it. I mean, that's the big piece. We all challenged each other, but we challenged each other in a good way. And it's a case of my feelings of, if people offer you advice, that means they care. So all of you care, but if you don't take the advice, then it means you don't care. So I'm like, let me go ahead and apply the advice that they gave, because here's, 9 other people who care about, seeing me be successful. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Awesome, Frank. Melinda, you want to go next?
Sure.
Bum, bum,
So
bum,
one of the key, go ahead.
bum, bum,
Oh.
bum, bum.
I was going to say, one of the things that was high on my list was getting some help on social media. A lot of folks had suggested Corey Perlman, and I know, Carl, you and I are part of that group right now, where we're getting them to help us, and that has made a big difference. I'm still having to do the writing, because the area that I have expertise in is not something that anybody can just pick up and know what to do. But I have them to kick me in the butt. I also sent them my book, so they're able to take some of those things, as well as some other things I've written, and repurpose them so that they can be throwing things out there, even if I haven't written something that week. But that's been tremendous. I'm very pleased with their work, and it's really been helpful. Frank had given me an introduction to Marchesa about, I said, I need a connection to Zoom. We are still talking about how we might be able to do something jointly, since she's doing Zoom engagement. And my thing is about reading people and making the right impression on Zoom. So we do different things that do fit together. So we're still in talks on that, on how we approach Zoom, and she may have some connections there. So I'm hoping something happens there. I would say just being out there more and saying yes more. I'm getting a lot more bookings. So we ski for 20 days, January and February. So I was not looking for a lot of work in January and February, but I'm really completely booked out in March, and even have some things looking into April. And I have my core business is consulting. Speaking is great. I love it. I have a relatively high fee for the speaking, so I like doing those engagements, but I'm not looking to do 200 speaking gigs a year. For me, it's really comfortable to do even just 2 a month is great for me. This month I've got 6, so I'm feeling actually a little bit crowded in there, but I'm excited by it. And most of these have the potential for spin-off to the consulting work that I do. So those were the 2 biggies for me, were the connection to try and get some program done with Zoom, since my book is Read the Zoom, and the social media piece. So that, oh, and I should say, through the social media, former clients have reconnected with me, and that's resulting in new introductions in business. So that was cool.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Your thing at the end of the meeting was to update your LinkedIn to talk about all of your offerings. How did that go? Anything?
You know what? I thought we should just do social media, so I didn't take good notes. But yes, I still need to do that, I would say. Yeah.
The bonus of an accountability group is I just took notes. You get to do whatever the hell you want.
Excellent. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I am writing it down right now about that.
Excellent. Well, does anybody have anything for Melinda?
20 days of skiing, cool, good for you.
Yeah, we do that every year. It's our happy, really happy place to do those things. So any rate, good snow this year, and any rate, we do love that. So that's a little indulgence that we allow ourselves every year.
It beats a new hip.
Well, with a new hip, maybe you can go do that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, if you think of something else, please feel free to jump in and yell it, but you have 35 seconds still to use. So that is on the
Oh, well, one thing I want to put out there is something that Frank had mentioned. I mean, I would like us to share videos of our speaking so that we can feel more comfortable referring each other. And I think that would be really a great thing to do, because most of us, I think, are in different areas. I don't know if we have much overlap. So it would be, a lot of times they want multiple topics covered. Let's start there. But also, if you speak one year, a lot of times they don't want the same speaker back the next year. I think that this kind of thing might be a potential for us to refer each other. And I understand you don't want to refer without seeing what somebody looks like when they're speaking, so you know how to match them up with groups or how that would work.
Yeah, I actually like that. I'm actually in the process of putting together a resource sheet, of which I'll love to add everybody here. But if I'm talking to groups, I'm like, hey, I'm working on workplace culture, and I'll talk a little about leadership and inclusion and mindset and teamwork, but that's not something I'm always in. So it's like, well, hey, if you want to continue this, here's a resource of people who work in these different areas. So whether it be full day trainings, workshops, videos. So don't be surprised when I reach out. I like that video piece there, like you said, Melinda, but it's something I want to provide after I leave, where it's like, well, hey, we want to keep this going. You can either do it with me or do it with my friends.
Yeah. So I do think that, and we also may see some areas where it's hand in glove. like, I'm just using this as an example. You know, you're doing the team dynamics. I know Stu does some things that have some thoughts on that with the personalized. I do a lot about reading the nonverbals. How do you, when things aren't working well, everything you've worked with before isn't working with this one person, how do you adjust with using psychology and the messaging to make that work? So I think we should look at where are there things that are synergies where we're not identical, but it works together.
Yep. Madam Facilitator, you're gonna love this one. Would it make sense? Would it make sense for all of us to email each other just like a brief write-up of what we specialize on? And if we do have a link to a video, we can have that on. So,
Just so that we don't like annoy everyone's inbox, you can, if you email all the stuff to me by like, let's say the end of the week, I'll put it all together and then send an email out to everybody. How's that?
That's awesome. With the links, and that way you have one email with all the links.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Is that cool? Just because as things start getting more hectic, I don't want it to get lost in the
Yeah.
shuffling.
No, that makes sense.
Coolio. Okay. Michelle, do you want to talk about your personal retreat?
I can, but there's not much to say. So I think I shared with everybody I was hiring my replacement. And I think I had identified the person at that time. I have talked about organizational culture. I have already terminated that gentleman. Yeah, it lasted a long time. And Carl, I'm not that much of a hard ass, I promise.
Reasons I
But,
don't have employees right there.
Exactly. But so he came in, and my entire team, which is made up of 10 people in the US, none of them were disappointed when I called each one of them to let them know that I had released him. And actually 50% of them were so elated. One of them was going out to celebrate. One of them was taking her resume down. She wasn't going to look for another job. And then, you know, 3 of the others were like, woohoo, you know, they did their own little celebration and then moved on. But I mean, they had quite a response. So that was disappointing. Not that they had that response, but that we really missed the boat. I mean, he said all the right things, but he just said all the right things. And when he got here, he was like, well, this is stupid. We've got to change this. We got to change that. And we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I mean, he was annihilating projects that the CEO had put in place many, many moons ago. And everybody knew that they were sacred cows. I had told him they were sacred cows, and he still continued. And so it was short-lived. So I'm back on the hunt. My personal retreat, I actually got a wonderful gift from Lori, and it is sitting next to my bed with, I am going to pick this up. I think I shared with everybody, I've been packing my house for a little over a year now, 23 years of my husband hoarding, but me also just trying to sort through and do I really need this? Do I really need that? And so my little personal retreat has been in my office for the last few days of just cleaning out, and I can see parts of the floor. I know you guys can't, but I can see parts of the floor, and it's getting better, but it's not there yet. And I've got file cabinets to go through. This is the last room on the upstairs that really needs to be gone through and purged. The other rooms are cleared out. And then it's garage and shed. That the shed looks like a little tiny house. So it's big. So I got work to do. Have I done my personal retreat yet? No. Have I thumbed through the book? Yes. Have I done the things that I needed to do? Not completely, but I am praying a lot and getting some clarity. So that has been good. And yeah, so it's a little disappointing, but at the same time, it's moving forward and I'm going to get there.
What I'm curious, I'm sorry to be tactical. Let me back up to be a feeling person for a second. Holy shit, that sounds like it sucks. Not to be tactical, but here goes a tactical question. How are you hiring the right person for this job? Because it seems like your personal retreat and getting the fuck out of there is deeply tied to the right person getting hired. Like, are you headhunting? Are you using the Kobe test or exam or whatever that thing is?
No, I actually, so we have a different assessment that we use here, and it's called Knoll, and he had aced the Knoll. I have my 2 talent acquisition partners on it. I have headhunter on it as well. And I mean, we honestly thought all the way up to the CEO, the CFO, the president of the company, a couple other VPs, even customers, that they all were like, oh yeah. And he said all the right stuff. He really said all the right stuff. And it's not there, but it was all in his execution and not listening. So, I mean, I'll continue to recruit for the right person, but I'm also, there may be an exit before I actually find that person if I don't get some things done. If I don't get some things done, I'm waiting for people to respond. And just it seems like so silly. We were supposed to start our benefits open enrollment yesterday, our meetings. We have messed around for 2 weeks trying to get rates. The CEO doesn't have time right now to get the rates done. I have been text messaging him, I'm emailing him, I am calling him. I have got his assistant on it. And we can't, and he's like, well, I thought we already agreed on everything. When did you think that? You haven't told us anything. So, I mean, if that's going to continue, I'm done. I'm just done.
Michelle, what state are you in?
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah. But our open, all of our stuff is open. I mean, wide
No,
open.
I meant more the position, but like, so is it a HR director that you're trying to hire, basically?
It's an HR US manager. I mean, I think I'm going to have to probably find somebody in Australia, but that's not going to replace me. Our corporate office is here in Houston. So, so that was what I was really looking for. Somebody who had some global. I do have some other HR folks that I'm reaching out to, but it's finding a person that's going to tolerate this this culture, and it is a different culture than what most HR people would want to come into. Being very transparent.
How many team members do you have?
Here in the US?
Yes.
Here in the US, I have 10.
Okay.
In globally, I have 28.
Okay. Do you need a full-time HR person, or you just need someone to help manage the HR pieces?
Nope, full-time.
Okay. I knew some outsourcing companies that do HR, like all the behind the scenes running, so I didn't know what you needed.
Michelle, does it have to be somebody who will be at a particular location?
So that is actually my agreement, is that I'm not going to be at a particular location, but the US HR manager does have to be in the Houston office.
Oh, okay, Houston.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put that on my radar because I'm in Dallas in case I know somebody who is in that area or would consider a move there.
Oh, yeah.
Even NSA page might have, I mean, so many people in Houston, right, on NSA, and might have a connection for an HR manager that, I mean, could be the right fit. I mean, this sounds horrible to go through the process of hiring and letting go. Also, just curious, this is a little strong question, but like, I don't know which hat it is, Jess, but anyway, I'm putting on a hat to just say, really, Michelle, why wait till you burn out to take your retreat? Do I have to come pick you up and hide you away for 3 days before you have to walk off your job? Like, just run away now. Like, I'm done. I cannot do it. Nobody's listening. And take care of yourself so you don't have to quit before you're ready.
So the other part is my boyfriend has been also going through a whirlwind of stuff. So we're trying to whirlwind together, and we both have discussed we need to get away. We have looked at the dates for going to Africa. We have looked at dates for going to Florida for just a getaway and to do our own little personal retreat, as well as doing a couple other things. But you know, he's got some things that he is working on as well, and that I'm helping him with, which is also helpful for me because it's giving me clarity. I'm getting there. We will do it. It just will be in the next, probably before the end of Q1 is what I will commit to.
Can you send, at least to me, the job description or the job description link?
Yeah.
Because then, and I can include it in the thing I'm compiling with everybody's links and talks or whatever for everyone. But at some point in time, between all of us, we're gonna remember, like, what's it? Someone lives in Houston and has HR background. So then if we have the job description, that might be able to be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that.
All right, Carl, you are up next. Kit, you're on deck. And then I forgot to put me in the list, so I'll go last.
When you get done with your messy office, Michelle, look at mine. You can come help me out. Things are going good as far as social media goes. All my numbers are way up, and Corey's helped me with the posting, and his team does the kind of cutesy little quote stuff that's all in an orange and blue box, and I do the kind of the football related and the long version story kind of stuff, and it has helped. Like I said, my numbers have grown tremendously, and especially LinkedIn, which I think is probably the target that most of us are aiming at. Maybe got some jobs out of it. I'm not sure. So at least they're checking and seeing that I'm active, and that's a good thing. As far as the podcast piece, I had skin cancer surgery on my nose and didn't look right. So I had kind of put that on a pause for a while. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it back up or not. I don't know if it's worthwhile to me or not. So my nose is looking better though. It's all there again. I had a chunk taken off, and then they did what's called a Mohs surgery, which is they identify that there's a skin cancer there, and then they peel it back with various levels, and then when they take a level off, and they test it and see if the backside of it is still cancerous, and then they do another one. They ended up doing 3, and they ended up doing a skin graft, and so it took me a while to look presentable, but it's better now. And that was just basal cell. I've had melanoma a couple times. That problem with being as pale as I am and having a job that was out in the sunshine as much as I did, you end up with skin cancer. So I go in every 4 months and get it checked out. You Florida folks go in and get checked out. Colorado's worse than Florida though, because of the altitude, or at least, yeah, my wife's saying about the same. So yeah, definitely get checked out. Yeah, I'm booking stuff. I wish I had more. I always wish I had
Carl,
more.
are you booking stuff for Black History Month too?
I am not. Although,
I'm telling you.
yeah, I do have a story of being different. As a NFL linebacker, I played in 6 Pro Bowls, and 3 of them I was the only white guy in the whole defense. So yeah, I've been on the other side of that sort of kind of and trying to relate. So it is a piece of my talk, and truthfully, I end up speaking to lots of construction, kind of heavy duty, family owned groups, electrical groups, groups that need more diversity, and it especially at the high places. So I see that and speak to that in my own way. And it's an endemic issue, I think, and all of us as thought leaders need to realize that. And it's not, to me, it's not uncomfortable to talk about, but like I said, I was in a mostly African-American environment for 12 years. I mean, that's what I was doing. So, other than that, I'm going to end up switching away from Corey, and my son is going to take over the social media, which is going to be interesting. I kind of hired Corey for Jeff to watch what he was doing. Jeff has a degree in business. Actually, Corey was a speaker at his class, a guest professor at one point out at Chapman University. So he, I think he's got a pretty good concept. He needs a job. He's had some health issues and isn't going to be able to, work outside of the home for a while. So having him take it over will be good. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot. I think those were the two things we talked about. Hopefully Corey and them, or at least Jeff, will do some of the small video things that we had talked about, taking advantage of. Omakongo went online and found I was everywhere. I need to be where I want to be, not everywhere. So I'm going to push some of that stuff over. So hopefully Jeff will be able to pull that up.
Well, very cool,
Awesome.
Carl. I think you have been showing up all over in all corners of my social media stuff. So I don't know what the hell you did or didn't do, or they heard me hanging out with you or something. I don't know, but you are everywhere. And I want you to know the post you wrote about the Super Bowl, I actually read and actually understood that, like, the bonus of doing, I'm going to screw it up now, but the bonus of doing plays that are unexpected and the unexpected moves,
Yeah.
and like how that worked. Like, one, it's a really great metaphor. And for someone who was a Luddite in all ways, and even more so around sports, I thought it was very well written and it was super accessible. And that time of year, like, I usually just shut down because everybody's either making fun of whoever the halftime star is, who I also usually don't know, or it's too sporty. And I thought it was an excellent balance. I really did. So
thank you. Yeah, ironically, I signed on with Corey Perlman, and I posted something as a response to somebody's issue on LinkedIn, and I thought, you know what, that'd be a good standalone thing. And I put it up, and I had, I don't know, 30,000 hits, or I mean, whatever. It went crazy for a while, and all of a sudden Corey's influence on my on my social media looked way better than it actually was. It was just what I did. But then now what he's doing helps, I think, helps keep people engaged. Like you're saying, Jess, I'm out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Carl, just one other thought. If you hadn't mentioned anything about having the Mohs surgery, I would never know. So I would not stay away from doing video or being on podcasts because of that. And also at this point in the game, if you needed to, I can't see anything. I even put you on speaker view so I could really see you big on my screen. But you can always use just a little bit of makeup. I mean, seriously, if you're self-conscious, but I would not hesitate to do things with video or podcasts based on that, because I don't think anybody would see anything at this point. I don't know what it used to look like.
Yeah,
It
no,
looks
before I just had a big old,
Yeah.
I had 5 weeks of a big bandage.
No, but you look great now.
Good, thank you.
There's
Yeah,
no-
it worked pretty good. They're talking about going in and shaving it down and doing some stuff, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. I don't need that. So yeah, no, I understand that they don't hire me for my beauty. That's not it. So I'm not.
I
I'm not
thought they
gonna-
did, Carl, actually.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not the main
You're
thing.
still pretty. You're still
Thank
pretty.
Well, that's good to know.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you very much, Carl, for your update. Good job. High five.
Ooh.
Kit, you are up.
Thank you. I think my homework was to find some live presentations and then cut some shorts out of it. And so I did find 3 videos that were full-length presentations that were well done by my videographer. So I have one was on emotional intelligence, one was on stress management, the other was handling difficult people. So I've gone through them with the timing and the edits and the cuts and have forwarded that to my videographer for that to get done. In the meantime, I'm rerunning 6 of my previous videos that were on emotional intelligence. And by that time, I'm expecting, I only put out 1 a week, and hopefully that'll come at the time that I'm done with those 6. Gonna go to the winter workshop in San Antonio. Always find that to be worthwhile. And then from there, I'll be headed to Oregon to speak at a dairy farmers conference. So that's what my upcoming schedule looks like. But otherwise, been busy, moved to Florida. You have a lot of friends and family that come to visit. So I've had, out of the last 14 days, 12 days, we've had company. And luckily one time I could go 2 days to Clearwater for an event and then 3 days to Albuquerque. So I cut the visitations in half by just having speaking engagements, which was good, but I will need to do a little relationship repair with my wife, probably because she was entertaining and I was out of town. But you know how this business is, you schedule out farther professionally than anybody makes plans personally. And Annie and her husband came and visited, which was nice, and played 18 holes of golf with Greg. And other than that, I have nothing else to add. I did my homework and I had enough business, and calendar looks pretty good for the next 12 months. So just feel a little semi-retired, which I like the feeling of it.
That's awesome.
Jess,
Congratulations.
you can have the rest of my time, Jess.
No, people are gonna jump on you. Don't worry. Your homework was to do shorts, so good job going through your inventory. I think it is also one of those weird things that only this kind of group would understand how hard it is to go through your own video and like try to pretend that you're not yourself and like not like, you know, listening to it or whatever. And like, you didn't even finish that sentence. Like, I can be so critical, but to find something that you approve of enough and you can be like disassociated from enough to like chop it into shorts, that's a really hard part, at least for me. So I just want to make sure that like that gets attention, because you not only didn't not do it, you did do it, and you have shorts out of it now. So it's only
Yeah,
been
it's amazing how you can take 3 hours of video and it extends to 4 days of going through, finding the right spots to start and stop, and then giving enough information to the videographer so they don't have to ask any questions and know what sentence it was ending and what sentences it's going to start at. And yeah, it's not fun.
Where are you going to release them, Kit? Are you putting on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter? Where are you putting?
Just YouTube.
Just YouTube Shorts? So they're less than a minute, or they're still?
Some are less than a minute, some are a little over a minute. It just depends on how I was blabbing on and couldn't edit it any tighter.
Well, because I thought there was a limit of 60 seconds for shorts. No?
I don't know.
Okay.
If it's too long, I'll just put it on my regular YouTube channel or put it out on LinkedIn.
Okay.
A little narrative.
Yeah, super fun to visit, Kit. They like to have a lot of company. So if you guys have nothing going on, schedule with them. They have half an hour open once every 6 months. So
well, and if you're lucky, then you get to hang out with Kit's wife and not Kit. So that'll work.
see, that's good. She's fun. Yes.
I just put into the chat because it keeps coming up, but one of the books that kept getting talked about at the CSP Summit was the book called Reach. And I am myself, so I bought the book, and then because I'm also myself, I scanned in the pages of the 2 chapters that are about repurposing stuff. So then you don't have to buy the book. Those are the 2 chapters. And because I'm myself, I also scanned the cover in, so I have cited it. It's not plagiarism. You're welcome. So if you're interested, that's there. Who else is going to San Antonio? Because Kit, Annie, and I are going. Who else? Anyone? Michelle, you're going? Great. I'm putting together an email with like, we said we were going to do this and this is what we're emailing each other.
I'm tentative for it. I signed up, but it's also my birthday weekend, so.
Well, we'll celebrate you, then come. A treat, a celebration, and a learning. I just feel like those are so nice. The winter conferences and CSP are
They
probably.
I've always really enjoyed them.
They're small. Yeah. Very cool. Anything else for Kit?
Sounds like you're killing it for what you want to do. You got your videos going, you got bookings, you're not so overwhelmed that you can't enjoy your semi-retirement. So that was kind of what you wanted to protect your lifestyle when we were in our meeting. It sounds like you're doing both.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week I'm going to have to golf 54 holes this week, so but
You
feel bad.
it's gonna be in the mid 80s. It's gonna be warm. It's gonna be in the 80s. Oh my
Feel
God.
terrible. We feel just.
Yeah, we're real sad about that, Kit.
Yeah, I'm gonna work real hard on staying hydrated this week.
Also important goals. Good job. I'm setting the timer because I'm going next. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yep.
So I have been alarmingly like mentally unwell and taking great advantage of the time. So there you go. There's my subtitle. So I have like early days of doing this business like PTSD, right? So I realized the connection of why I have been so like anxious and almost like brittle lately. And it's because I haven't cashed a check. So I had to have this like talk with myself about retainer clients. That money just appears in the bank. So there's not a sheet of paper. So you don't go to the bank, like calm down. Also ACH transfers, those exist. Sometimes people pay by credit cards. Holy shit. So I have literally been like, calm down. Mama has money. Dogs have dog food. You just have to run an errand. But it really is like the first time that I am being that anxious and it wasn't necessary. So I think like overall my mental health is getting a lot better. And then what I think is so funny about when you put things on your calendar is I got a check yesterday. So then I was all prepared to tell y'all like, oh, I deposited a check yesterday. I'm totally fine today. Everything's completely fine. It is totally linked to running an errand, which I find fascinating. And so if I can like name that, maybe I can let that piece go. So then in addition to not working as much as I would have assumed I would have worked in January and February, I had sort of free time. And in the sort of free time, I wrote a book. Or at least I'm still writing a book. I went to Toronto for a week and totally got to remember why I fell in love with that city and that I am a city person and I live in the middle of nowhere in a very small rural area. I got to do all these like queer city life things because it was the week of Valentine's Day. So like everybody was out doing all kinds of stuff. So that was great. And I cat sat for another speaker who was on vacation. So I had this glorious, amazing apartment to myself with 2 cats. And I wrote about 57,000 words of a new book. Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked. I am now in the process of looking for like a development editor, not just a copy editor, and then am contemplating some different publishing options that might be available for said new book. But I think the coolest thing about it is I have often said I've used humor as the Trojan horse to get to diversity stuff. And with this book, I'm using diversity stuff as the Trojan horse to something much larger about organizations and systems, which has allowed me, and I'm a super nerd, so I get to go down a rabbit hole of quantum physics and chaos theory and social work and the design of like actual usable objects and what human-centered design is. And all these amazing things have been like plinkoing through my head and I'm super stoked. And then the last thing is about the assessment tool that y'all helped me out with. I have basically decided that fundamentally I don't like people. And so I'm going to hire a project manager who is going to handle at least the part 2 of this one contract that was pending. Well, again, because this was on the calendar, the contract signed 2 days ago. That's the check that I deposited yesterday. And I had the what are we gonna do call this morning. So part 1 is all set up. I'm only gonna do 30 of the assessments, which will then really tell me if I actually don't like people or I just don't like doing the individual debriefs. I can handle 30, I think. And then I have a keynote at the end of April. And then part 2, in order to plan for part 2, I have pulled together a pool of very qualified administrators. We did a practice call with another client. So then I scared the people away I needed to scare away. The people who are still excited are very interested in working. And now they are going to apply to be the administrator, the program manager, or subcontractors to do the individual debriefs. And once I pick a program manager, I'm going to have them actually negotiate the contract. And I think I'm going to be the administrative person so that I can be involved, make a little bit of money, but also learn what it is about that side of it that I do or don't like, so that at the end of this client, I will know for sure what I want to do and what I don't want to do moving forward and how much my time is worth. Then 5 minutes. I'm
Awesome.
done. Boom. That's
awesome, because you were really agonized during our session about the scope of the work you thought you had already committed to and how it was going to all get done. So you figured it all out, which is great.
I have 3 awesome copywriter, editorial content writers. If anybody wants them, they are in different price categories, but all 3 really qualified. So if anyone needs help with development of a book or a blog, they are fabulous to work with. So Jess froze on us, I think.
I was just going to say, I think she's
frozen in time. She's had enough. We scared her. We scared her all this time. And now finally.
Well, I blame all of you, but